Welcome to the Real Retirees of New Jersey, powered by Liberty Financial Group and Artemis Wealth Advisors. Randy and Peggy Fisher want to help you retire once and retire right. Get more information at therealretireesofnewjersey.com. They never throw the first punch, but they're always a knockout.
Get all the information, Artemis Wealth Advisors and Liberty Financial Group here in the show notes. Randy Fisher is here. Peggy Fisher is here. My name is Mark Owens. Thanks so much for streaming and downloading The Real Retirees of New Jersey. No pleasantries this week because I felt bad because last week we just talked like old buddies the whole time. So I'm going to get right to it. We've seen numbers lately that show the labor market is softening. Mike B is a project manager in his late 50s. My man is struggling to find a job.
Let me tell you how bad the job market is right now. I got laid off about 36 days ago. Probably 200 applications in. Out of that, probably 25 rejection letters. I signed up at Walmart for a job, signed up at my grocery store for a job. No interviews, no contacts. Out of all the applications I put in, I've had 2 interviews. Been ghosted probably 15 times. That's how bad it is. I've been aged out 36 days. This is the longest I've ever been without a job ever in my life. 23 years in the military, master's degree, bachelor's, tons of experience. Can't find anything.
My man can't find a job anywhere. Are you seeing people getting aged out?
No, we're not really seeing that here. Not in New Jersey.
Right.
Are you, Randy?
From clients' kids.
Yes.
And I have a lot of these conversations with a lot of our clients' kids.
Yeah, the kids are.
We hear that. And
Yeah.
when I say kids, these kids are 25, 28,
Yeah, right.
32 years old.
They just got out of
change.
college and they can't find a job.
But no, they can find a job.
Oh,
it's
what
not
they
the
want,
career
that they want.
that they're
Right,
looking
that's
for,
true.
right?
No, you're right.
You know, they want their 3 months worth of vacation. They want a corner office overlooking the, river and everything else. They're out of their minds. So the fact is, what we see is people, the job market, I guess, from our standpoint, what we can see is, it's not that weak. It's a matter of how choosy do you want to be. Now, this guy, he sounds like he was looking around for everything.
Yeah.
You can't find a job at Walmart or something. I think something's wrong. But even when I'm around here, I all the stores have
for sales
wanted signs on there, hiring
all over
and
the place, right? But
it's
like
everywhere.
you said, is that what you want? Like,
Now,
sometimes,
There's also a difference between listen, when I first started and we got married years and years and years ago, I worked 3.5 jobs and you had 2 jobs just to make ends meet, right?
Oh God, yeah.
So, just because you say, I got to go get a job, it's not the job that's basically going to bring home the bacon. Mm-hmm. You may have jobs to bring home the bacon, right? And certain times are lean and certain times are great. I don't know what this guy did to get laid off, or not that he did anything wrong, but or what I meant is what was his occupation.
Right.
If this guy's like a nuclear scientist and he can't find a job, you're certainly not going to Walmart as a nuclear scientist, right? Mm-hmm. A guy's like, I got a master's degree. Okay, you got a master's degree in what? It sounds like he's not lazy. So, maybe in his neck of the woods, there really isn't a lot of jobs that are available, but the economy is rolling. There's no stopping the thing. Everybody's spending money out there like they're drunken sailors still.
Yep.
Unfortunately, with the market going up and the government who's been shut down, it has actually caused a lot of pain for people who've gotten laid off in those scenarios or haven't been working. But that's far and few between in a short period of time. 30, 45 days, right? For the most part, everybody's pretty fat. For the most part. You keep hearing on the new, the nightly news that everybody's dying. There's poverty in the streets and people are running around looking for milk and biscuits. I talked to somebody this week and, he basically said that he has problems because he has money. And I said, well, if you didn't have problems, if you didn't have money, you'd have problems too.
Right.
They're just called different problems.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Oh, yeah.
Everybody's got problems.
Right.
It's a matter of which problems do you want to deal with or what do you have? So, everybody's got different issues. I feel for people who think that they've been kind of aged out of the job market.
Exactly.
Sometimes, I gotta be honest with you though, I've heard that before. I personally think that that's a mindset. Mm-hmm. I think they're tired. They don't want to look around anymore. They're uncomfortable with the fact that they may need to take a pay decrease to get a job, right? So nobody wants to go backward to go forward. People sometimes think that they're way overqualified for certain things, right? So I don't know. Sometimes you have to be a little bit humble until you find what you're really looking for.
And I don't mean to be a skeptic, or maybe I just am. There is a little part of me that's like, as you hear that guy's resume, it's like, okay, are we sure it's not you?
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
If you can't get a job at Walmart, what are we missing here? Is there underlying, like, are you wanted in 15 different states? What's happening? So I don't know this guy.
I don't know him
Piece
either.
of audio
But
was sent to us. So let me flip that. What if I'm in my 50s and I have a job, but then I hear that in 2026, they're about to go through a massive round of layoffs.
Right.
I just saw this week, UPS has laid off like 20,000 people this year.
Yeah.
Paramount Network, Amazon, everybody's doing these massive layoffs. What if I know I'm in my 50s, man, I'm 6, 7, 8, 10 years away from retirement, and I'm about to get a pink slip? What do you say to them?
Avoid costly mistakes if
Yep.
you do happen to get laid off. Like, try not to dip into any of your retirement accounts because you're worried about money and things like that, or taking Social Security early because there could be penalties and stuff like that, to try to not get into those kind of costly things and make mistakes that way.
yeah, I mean, prior to 59 and a half,
Right.
if you withdraw money from an IRA,
You have
from a
taxes.
401k, from
Yeah.
anything like that, not only do you have taxes, but you also have an
Penalties.
IRS
Correct.
early withdrawal premature penalty. So if you can avoid taking money out of there to make ends meet, do so by all choices, right? The opposite of that is hopefully you don't get to that level, but before that happens, if you think you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, you may get laid off, there could be an opportunity for downsizing or whatever it is. First thing I would look at is cash flow and start to look at where can you tighten some of the bootstraps as to where you're spending money now that you may be able to save one way or another. And then, not for nothing, but live like that moving forward.
Yeah.
Because live like, hey, I may get laid off.
Right.
If you do, then you're going to become more frugal, more prudent of your money.
And try to make a little more savings for yourself.
There you go.
For, like we always talk about, if there is an emergency like this, something does happen, try to put a little bit of savings to the side. So you say, hey, you know what? Just in case something does happen, I do get laid off. They let me go from the job, whatever the case
Right.
may be. That you say, hey, you know what? I'm okay. I got they always say
Having
6 months.
having a number of months worth of savings on the
Right.
side is not a bad deal. Now, where's that money supposed to be? Is it supposed to be invested in the stock market? No.
No.
Because that fluctuates up and down.
Right.
You want it in more secure areas, right? So you want it in treasury bills, maybe 30, 60, 70, 90-day CDs, short-term vehicles that don't have a lot of fluctuation, that don't have a lot of volatility, right? So you can easily get at it. Money has three properties. You have guarantees, you have potential growth, and you have liquidity. When you're looking at an emergency fund, you're looking at guarantees and liquidity as your two primary functions, not so much the growth side. So, the thing that people get bothered about is they keep saying, oh, I'm not making any money on that money. True, but we can't get everything we want, right? So you can't get an unlimited amount of growth and liquidity and guarantees.
Yes.
Just doesn't happen.
So that's what all the clients are looking for.
Everybody
You always
wants
tell them, listen.
When you find that, you let us know.
Exactly. It's so funny.
Right?
Yeah. Well, I can't.
Right.
Yeah.
So, that's what we always ask people is, here's three things, pick two of them that are most important.
Yes. Right.
If you think about those three items, growth, guarantee, and liquidity, and you write those three things on a piece of paper, and no matter which financial tool you talk about, there's only two out of the three that are particularly going to apply to that particular function.
Right.
That is where the priority comes in and how you're going to use it for planning. So if it's a long-term approach, you're not going to really look at it for liquidity. You're going to look at it for growth,
preservation,
right? and more or less guarantees. If you're looking at it for, I need it tomorrow,
right.
You're looking at it for guarantees and liquidity.
That's right.
Right. So not everything can be put in the market. The second thing is, I would actually say is start to get your ducks in order. If you're in your, let's say 50s and you're looking at downsizing, is to say, okay, where are my IRAs? Where is my 401k at? Where are my risk levels? Where is the volatility in my portfolio?
Yeah, maybe
because
make changes to that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
If they're going to sit idle for a while, and they're not going to be in a dollar cost averaging scenario, it means that they're just going to fluctuate upward or downward with the market. And if you are going to be able or not going to be able to find a job, there are unique circumstances in which you can turn an IRA or a 401k into an income stream, but there needs to be what they call periodic systematic payments out over a course of time up until age 59 and a half. There's some IRS rules to that. And if you don't know how to do it or get it right, it's costly.
Right.
So you have to actually find someone who knows what they're doing to work with them to formulate this systematic plan in order to get it done correctly. Do you have to do it to all your money? No. But once it's started, it cannot be undone.
Right.
So there needs to be a good understanding of how it works to get that coordinated to promote an income stream for you for a short period of time.
Right. And just resist the urge to like panic and say, oh my God, I start doing crazy things like taking money out of 401ks and doing all kind,
Correct.
Yeah.
Take a deep breath.
Yes. Avoid the panic and talk to an advisor.
And this is, think about it this way. This is there's no good time to get laid off, but this is the worst time to get laid off, right? Mm-hmm. Right before holidays and things like that. People start to get pretty melancholy and crazy and do stupid things too. So
right.
I was working at a radio station once, and they always would fire people around the holidays.
That's anywhere, I think. Remember, his dad worked for AT&T, and every December, literally every December, like the first week, he's like, "It's coming again. This is going to be my time." And I swear he said it for like 30 years straight. He actually retired from there on his own. They are. I know. We just had a client recently who just came in and said that. Oh my God! I go, oh my God! It's like, listen, my father-in-law. He would say that like every year for 30 years straight.
Yep. I tell people, put your name on the list and just put your hand up and say yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't get mad. I used to break up with my girlfriend around Valentine's Day so I didn't have to buy her anything.
That's not nice.
So the company's going to fire the
Valentine's
Day
Christmas.
That's awful. I remember we were at a Christmas party, a radio Christmas party, and they had just fired like 30 people that week. We're at the Christmas party that weekend. It's like hard to have fun knowing some of your buddies just got let go. And I jokingly made the comment to my boss. I was like, hey, where's our Christmas bonus this year? Just joking, trying to make awkward conversation. And he was like, you got to keep your job. That's your bonus this year.
Could you imagine people saying that today?
I'm like, holy crap.
You know what? It's so funny,
Thank you very much.
Thanks for the cash bar and light apps.
Yes,
Appreciate
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a question. You were talking about this. We're talking about like jobs and 401ks. A lot of people with their job, though, will retire with that 401k. And the question becomes, what do I do with it? Choices, leave the money in the company's plan or roll it over to an IRA. Are there pros and cons to each one?
Yeah, Randy loves
slightly.
Roll those over, baby.
Roll it. What I would have to say is if you roll it over to your individual IRA, you have more choices, flexibility. You have more control.
That's right.
Inside your 401k, it is only a platform with a limited number of choices, right? Good or bad, it's what it is. Mm-hmm. You have to live and die by whatever is in that portfolio.
Yeah, and limited choices equal limited growth. So you got to think of that too, right?
Sure. Also, limited advisor that can actually
do anything,
manipulate the portfolio, whatever you like to do.
Yep.
When you withdraw money from a 401k, it is mandatory withholding of 20% tax, mandatory. When you withdraw money from an IRA, it's elective.
Right.
You can withdraw any money you want from your IRA. You can elect to have 100% withheld for tax, or you can have 0% withheld for tax. So there's more flexibility with regard to when you pay taxes, not if you pay taxes, but when you pay taxes and how you pay them. 401ks are, they have a loan provision within them that IRAs do not. So if it's important for you to potentially have a loan option while you're still employed, so that's a caveat, while you're still employed,
correct,
you can get a loan from 50% of your portfolio value up to $50,000, but needs to be paid back over a 5-year period of time. If it's not, it's then deemed a distribution and then subject to either pre-withdrawal penalties, IRS, and tax. So in plain English, I'll translate for you there. Let's say I had a $50,000 loan and I started paying it back and there was $25,000 that was left on it. I got laid off, or I left and I had no way to pay that loan back from the 401k anymore. Mm-hmm. I would then get a 1099 at the end of the year for the remaining balance of my loan of $25,000, and it would be included as income because there's no way in order for me to pay that loan back anymore. Right. So if you're still working, what happens is each one of your paychecks, you contribute back into your 401k, which then pays yourself back, which is nice. So it's a great provision. But if you're not working there anymore, unfortunately, that plan provider can't actually say, hey, you're going to continue to send me a check every month because we'll pay the loan back. That's not going to happen.
Right.
So that's another provision. For the most part, IRAs and 401ks have very similar credit and debtor collection or against creditor and debtor collection opportunities. So you're basically sheltered from those because they're considered more or less a trust.
And a lot of people leave their 401ks or they forget about them.
Yep.
Like, I worked for these 3 companies. Oh, yeah, you know what? I do have something left over there. We hear that from clients all the time, too.
Well, the interesting part about it is some people say, well, I have it at Vanguard. I have it at Fidelity. Yeah. I'm just going to leave it there. because they think that they have all of the choices that are available
Right,
there.
but then they
it's
find
still
out they
not.
don't,
It's still
right,
a limited number of
exactly.
choices of what the
Right.
portfolio underlying choices are. There
Right.
could be 5 choices. There could be 55 choices. I am assure you there's not 55,000 choices, and there's not an unlimited amount of financial solutions in which you can move. As good as Vanguard is, as good as Fidelity is, as good as BlackRock is, or ING, or whoever else you have your 401ks with, they're not the best at everything.
Yeah,
right?
and as we were talking about hidden fees too before, right? It's
Are
the
there
same
fees?
thing. A lot of the old 401ks had, layered fees, the administration fees, the fund expenses, and you may not see that or even remember that or know that, thinking, "Oh, I just left it there." Or
That's a
whatever.
fact.
Right? So it's good to take that out, take a look at it, and we do that all the time for people and
Right.
say, "Hey, let's save on the fees because that can just eat away."
Another caveat of 401k versus IRAs has to do with stretchability. And what does that mean? It means that if I die, can the money be given to beneficiaries and stretched over a period of time, or does it have to be taxed all at one shot?
Yeah.
Right? So if you're a spouse of someone who has a 401k or an IRA, you have an opportunity to take that money and move it over as a spousal rollover.
Right.
Right? If you're not a spouse, and let's say you're a child of my kids, let's say, God forbid, Peggy passed away and my kids were left and I died and my 401k was there, they would all get a lump sum from the 401k.
Yep.
It's mandatory.
Yeah.
It's the only way to actually take it. What does that mean? The full value of their allocation in which they're going to receive is going to be fully taxed at whatever their tax liability is.
Yeah.
So it's like adding an additional amount of money to their income all at one
Correct.
shot.
Right.
If it's an IRA, you can do something is called a stretch limitation, which means you can take it over a period of time.
Right. We're not getting all that tax at once.
You don't get whacked all at one
Exactly.
shot.
Yeah.
So you can stretch it as long as 10 years.
Yeah.
Some people can take it at 5 years.
Which is nice for some
You can always
people.
take it earlier.
Yeah,
It's all up to
exactly.
you.
Yep.
So if you have 3 beneficiaries and one makes no money and one makes a lot of money and one makes a little money, kind of like the 3 little bears.
Yeah.
One can take a lump sum and really not got crushed.
Right.
The last one, who actually makes a great living, can take it over the longest period of time.
That way they're not
And the
taxed.
middle one can decide what they want to do with it.
Yep.
So there's IRAs give you more flexibility, more independence, and more options than you do in your individual 403b, 457, 401k, whatever
Right.
your employer plan is.
Randy, you are a wise, smart man, and I appreciate that information. Peggy, bless your heart for putting up with Randy every day. That's why we
Every
love you.
day.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Every
Every day's
day.
Christmas.
Thank you.
Meet them both at the Real Retirees of New Jersey.com. Find all that information here in the show notes. For Peggy Fisher, for Randy Fisher, this has been the Real Retirees of New Jersey podcast, all powered by Liberty Financial Group and Artemis Wealth Advisors.
See ya.
We are an independent financial services firm helping individuals create retirement strategies using a variety of financial and insurance products to custom suit their needs and objectives. Investment advisor services offered through Artemis Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. Artemis Wealth Advisors is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Please consult with your attorney, accountant, and or tax advisor for advice concerning your particular circumstances. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Randolph A. Fisher, insurance license number 9616074, and Liberty Financial Group, LLC, and Peggy Fisher, national license number 189420003 and 5705833.